hard. So from a fan perspective, guys, Halliburton playing with the injury. Now, do you blame the injury or do you say he should have took himself out and said, hey, TJ McConnell, right? I want to say his name right this time. I said O'Connell last time. McConnell should have kept playing because he got hot and fired. In the third quarter, he did. And then you should have probably kept him out. I get why Carlisle went back to Halliburton because he thought, okay, he can bring magic. And they came back with Halliburton out there, even though he wasn't getting any production. He's still the point guard, regardless if he's scoring or not. So then it became a point where, this isn't working, and he then put TJ back in there. So as a player, what do you think? Yeah, what do you think he should have done? It's the finals.
Yeah.
There is no tomorrow.
Man, that's tough because I'm a competitor, right? And I'm sure you're the same way. You would have to almost drag me off a court, field, off the radio,
regardless of whatever. If he can't,
but if I got to a certain point, maybe at halftime or maybe some point in the third quarter, and I realize I'm probably doing more harm than good. I mean, he was 0 from 6 from field goals and 0 from 4 from 3-point. I mean, you weren't hitting anything, and you only were getting 10 shot
points in the first half,
right? No points in the first half. I would have to seriously weigh. Played 34 minutes, which is the second most out of the starters, which was, to me, that also goes back. I get what you're saying as I'm holding this stress dumbbell that's stressed him on him. He's as a prop.
Jackson, why are you stressing him out?
I know. It's Jackson. Jackson left. That's why it's stressing me out. So now we got Ross here. Ross, man.
You can't do a thing
I
right.
trust Ross, man. Hey, man. I don't know. Jackson's at our door. See, that's what happened.
Look at him. There he is. Oh, he's getting the lives.
You just stressed him out because you left out of the studio.
I'm sitting here playing. This is like I use like a pen. Sometimes it's a prop.
All right, man. You ain't got to bring this in here, man. I can read the email.
But, I guess maybe I just don't know at the NBA level at what point does the coach need to step in? Because football, I feel like the coach would step in at some point if it was a close game. And this was still a close game throughout. Despite Halliburton only going for 0 points in the first half and only getting 4 points off of free throws in the second half. And you would think that would be a situation where, okay, we got a good bench. We got a bench that maybe we could rotate in and out and maybe do something. And even just maybe alleviating him more maybe could help. But at the same time, I'm like, from the player perspective, that'd be a really hard pill to swallow in the finals. To pull myself in the third period, but you got to.
Yeah, well, they put him in the third naturally.
Yeah.
You know what? It is a tough call by the coach. I thought he kind of played it right, but now looking back at it, I probably would have put my guy back out there, Halliburton, because he's helped us get there.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it wasn't working, and that he couldn't move, I would have tried this. I would have taken him out as the point guard, making him the 2, so he doesn't have to move a lot laterally, because that's where he was having his issue. He was horrible on defense. He couldn't move laterally. Now, he could run straight, but he couldn't move lateral. And guess what? Basketball is all lateral. You can talk about running up and down, but you got to guard. And so once that happened, I would have taken him off ball, see if he can get some production by, getting some spot-up shots.
Yeah.
And if that couldn't happen, I'm putting TJ back in there. And I thought he waited a little too long to put him back out there. And it's hard to be critical of Carlisle, who's a really good coach.
Yeah.
And I thought in the moment, I could see why he did what he did. But, man, that was a tough pill to swallow. And then Halliburton has to deal with the repercussions of that because nobody cares. I played numerous times hurt. Nobody cares if you're hurt from a fan perspective. You were out there. You weren't hurt.
Right.
That's the bottom line, even though you're trying to fight through it for your teammates. So that's why I was asking that question from a fan perspective on the outside looking in because, man,
it's easy for me to say.
It's hard
he needs to be out of there.
Right. Yeah, it's easy, right? Because I was saying, hey, man, we got to take him out.
Well, especially after TJ McConnell scored 13 points in under 7 minutes of the third.
I would have rode the Energizer Bunny because that's what he is until he ran out of gas. And he was up there talking smack. He was talking about they can't guard me. Leave him out there.
That's what you need at that point in time.
Yeah. Yes, that was a tough one there, man. But you got to see why the Thunder, they have special players, individual players. And they could at some point, Williams, which I said is growing as
right in front of our eyes right now.
No doubt. And we already know what SGA is.
I talked about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen yesterday. Yes. And what did I see the Ringer write this morning? Calling him the next Scottie Pippen, Jalen Williams. And I'm like, man, I think I called that one.
And there are going to be times where you say, Pippen looks better than the other guy, right? And there were times in this game. Now, by the way, it wasn't like this came about. He was getting like 20 a game anyway in this series.
Right.
I think he had 25 and 26 or something, the other two games. And so just to take it to that whole level of 40, no, oh, man, he got on fire. He got into a rhythm, and, man, they rode it. They are a true team, even though they have special players.
Yeah.
So, man, what a great game, though. A little disappointing. I was hoping, because I feel like now it's pretty much, it's going to, even if it doesn't end this next game,
because Halliburton is not going to be 100% by the time the next game rolls around anyway.
See, he got hurt last year I think it was the Eastern Conference Final, and didn't only play one game versus the Celtics, and then they swept them.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, man. So he is the key to their operation. Man, I just don't know if he's going to be, it's a calf, or shin or something. You just don't know how capable he's going to be with 2 days rest, flying back. You just never know.
But they got time to make preparations for that, right? I mean, they got time to maybe start putting him at the 2, like you said.
Yeah.
And start doing something a little bit different.
Capable. What's the other guard's name that plays defense, who really, to me, isn't a starter, but because of his defensive efforts, especially in the playoffs, he's done well. But, that was their opportunity. They had them on the ropes. They came back. They cut it down in the fourth. And then OKC just put it in a whole nother level. They rose.
Pacers had 23 turnovers.
23 turnovers. Man. Yeah, I got it all written down here.
I mean,
OKC went on an 18-4 run.
Yeah.
It was over right there.
And to be honest, it was still, even with all of that, because of the Pacers' defense, and I know that their top two players, for the 10th time, Jalen Williams and SGF combined for over 70 points. I know that's a big number, but to be honest, just losing that game by 11 points, if I would have told you before the game, Halliburton gets injured in the first, he only comes away with 4 points. They have 23 total turnovers. You would say, and I'd say, but they only lost by 11 points. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, no, that's crazy. They're going to lose by more. But that's what the Pacers defense does. It keeps it close. It keeps it tight. And then there are certain points where these other players, these role players, or even Siakam, show up and start bringing it closer and closer. Yeah. And I feel like Rick Carlisle just didn't need to put Halliburton back in at certain times at certain points, because you kind of ruined that momentum a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to be one to be questioned. And that's a tough call. In moment, I thought he played it right. Let me see if my guy's got some magic. If he doesn't, then I'll bring the other guy. I just think he waited a little too long.
Yeah.
A little too long there.
Man, that's tough. And I know that's tough because, Halliburton has a lot of haters in the NBA fan bases.
I know. And you saw Stephen A. just go off on him at halftime.
Well, we're going to be talking about some Stephen A. later.
What the heck? I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. The dude was hurt. Now, let's don't make this about that. Just talk. They're playing well.
Let's talk about the actual series, not about like the guy that got injured and then you want to just trash him because you've been trashing him.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's just there's a certain point where NBA analysis is not actually analysis. It's just shock jock, which works for ESPN. It works for Stephen A. Smith and all that kind of stuff. Don't hate the player, hate the game, I guess is where that really comes down to.
That'll be Barkley and those guys next year, right? Or
yeah,
no?
Yeah.
Will it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Perk does a good job playing in between there, but I feel like it became a talk show with Stephen A. just going the way he was going. Like, nah, this is, analysis.
Yeah, it's more first take, less halftime analysis.
Yeah, that's what I want. And I'm like, oh, man, come on, man. We don't need all this craziness right now.
All right. I got some stats for you.
Oh, yeah. Give them to me, man.
Teams that win Game 5 of an NBA Finals that was tied at 2-2 have gone on to win the series 23 times in 31 opportunities. That's 74%. And teams with a 3-2 lead in the finals have won 40 times in 49 previous opportunities at 82%. Game 5 wasn't easy. It wasn't far from it for the Thunder, but yeah, I think this is a wrap. And I hate to say it because I've really enjoyed this Pacers team. I've really enjoyed this conference finals. I've enjoyed, in fact, this whole NBA playoffs outside of Memphis' exit. But I've enjoyed everything, and I hate it that this is kind of how it's going to go down, is that I hate to say it, but I think Indiana's going to lose at home.
In 6.
With Halliburton. With Halliburton hurt. And I think that sucks. I think that's a crappy way to write that ending.
Yeah, that will be disappointing. Imagine that now. We don't even know. He may not even play. There's no way. But how quickly, if he does play, if he starts off slow, he
Lots
wasn't
of
playing
needles going in that injury
man,
for right
people
now.
have no idea, man. They're gonna try to get that thing. Basketball's I don't know.
A lot of massages, hot yoga.
You can't hide in basketball.
Yeah.
That's what it's bad. Like
you are so on the run, up and down the court, stop and starting,
Man,
all that
that's
kind of
so
stuff.
hard.
It's like it's tough. Now Jackson believes. I talked to him earlier. Jackson, do you still stand by what you told me?
Okay.
Thunder in 7.
Thunder in 7. I think the Pacers get a home win.
He thinks the
on Thursday
Pacers are
night.
going to get a home win Thursday night.
Well, okay. Am I remembering wrong? Does any team win 2 in a row, or did they just happen with?
No, I guess the Thunder just did it.
Did it?
Yeah. Thunder just did it.
I think they're going to put all the effort and emotion into Game 6. They're going to win it, and then they're going to get taken to the woodshed in Game 7. It's going to be a really tough scene.
And definitely, who do we know who's favored already? I'm sure OKC.
Oh, I'm sure,
but
OKC for sure.
I just was wondering how many points, because whenever you think the Pacers are going to win, it's going to be a close one. It's always about execution in the fourth down the stretch. These teams and coaches are really close in their thought process and no counter moves to what all they're doing. But I think
Currently,
OKC's
Thunder are only favored by 5 points as of 4 hours ago.
Oh man,
That's kind of crazy.
As of right now.
Yeah, as of right now.
Wow.
As well. So there you go. When we come back, we're going to talk about what Diego Pavia had to say. He's quite the talker on Bussin' with the Boys recently. So we're going to talk about that. And also there was an Arkansas pitching performance yesterday that was one for the
ages. Yeah.
Here. So we're going to
Jackson.
talk about that as well. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
10th pick. Ever wonder how I keep my mojo? Well, hey, it's Blaine Bishop here, and if you're looking for the best tacos in town, you got to check out Mojo's Tacos. They've got 3 amazing locations, including my favorite spot in Nolensville. And Mojo's Tacos is where the magic happens. Whether you're craving their mouth-watering carne asada, their delicious fish tacos, or their famous street corn, they've got it all. And don't forget to try their house-made salsa, which packs a right hook, you know what I mean, a punch, right? And each location has a great vibe, perfect for a family night or catching up with your friends. Plus, their friendly staff will make you feel right at home. So head on over to Mojo's and taste the difference. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Mojo's Tacos, 3 locations and 1 unforgettable experience.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Diego Pavia was on Bussin' with the Boys recently, and let me say this.
With the boys.
I know, listen, as a short guy with bad posture, my advice would be to sit up in your chair when you're on that buzzer, because he was all slouched down.
He was chilling out.
He was just chilling, and he looked like Dylan Gates. I mean, he looks like a little
have
kid.
like cigars,
like a little kid.
Or was he having drinks, shots?
I only seen such a few clips, but he was just like slinking down. If you got bad posture and you're a short king like me, you have to like stand up in your chair, especially if you're on video.
Hey, man, maybe that's how he rolls.
I don't know, but, man, he looked very tiny. But speaking of that.
That's because you remember the J.C. Latham, how big
yeah,
he
that's true. That's true. Speaking, I guess, of tiny, while he is tiny, his words were not. Boy, did he have some wild things to say on Bussin' with the Boys. I guess I'll start with the one that's got everybody up in arms. Is Vanderbilt is going to run Tennessee after this year. This is going to be the new staple of college football. It's going to happen here at Vanderbilt. Wow. That's something.
This is routine for him, though, right? Always saying big things. Not against Tennessee, but this was definitely against Tennessee.
He's a good trash talker.
Did he say this about Alabama? Or was that somebody else? I can't remember. Did he say this about Alabama that they were going to beat them?
I don't know.
He kind of looks like Tim Tebow, by the way.
No, he's trying to change it up. He said that about Alabama.
Well, I'm just looking at the video right here.
I don't think he said anything about all. He said stuff after the game.
Yeah, after the game.
Oh, okay.
After the game, he was very loud.
But Vanderbilt is going to run Tennessee after this year. By the way, he lost to Tennessee last year, so we just probably should throw that out there.
He threw for a total of 101 yards.
They were coming after him,
with an interception, 45 yards rushing in that game, just in case anyone's...
So, obviously, Tennessee and Vanderbilt are going to play this year, Blaine. You're a big proponent of, let's keep some stuff in-house or keep some stuff to yourself.
Just keep your powder dry, as Coach Mack would say.
Thoughts on what Diego Pavia had to say in just this instance?
Well, he has shown that this is his style.
Yeah.
And I think he can get away with that at a program like Vanderbilt because, nobody gives him the respect that they deserve. So he plays with confidence and, just got to make sure as a coach, you say, hey, you better make sure you back that up. And so only they know what they think and believe. And they got to believe that to a certain extent. It's just that he's saying it. My style was totally different. I was never going to poke the bear. That's never behind the scenes now. I'll be poking the bear. We're going to, we're going to have them up, man. We're going to get them. So we're going to see whose defense going to outplay who, Ravens. And so, And so that's, they can talk all that stuff to the media. That was their style. Our style was not. We put on our hats and we let our actions do the talking. So because that can come back and bite you when all of a sudden now you get whooped 40-10, and then who's doing the woofing then?
Yeah.
See? So, just wait to add to the game, I guess, then like he did at Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, you're just setting yourself.
What about you, Jackson?
Just setting yourself up for a little bit of failure.
Yeah. I just,
Because this clip is going to get played, because it's at Knoxville, right, this year?
Yeah, this game will be in Neyland Stadium.
Over and over, for sure.
I think a nice touch would be at the end of the game when Tennessee does win to play this on the Jumbotron.
They absolutely should. And that's fair game, right? I mean, they should play this
afterwards.
Clip. Yeah.
Oh, no. We're playing that before getting the crowd just lit.
Yeah.
Click. And you turn that on while everybody's standing there after the anthem, and you play his voice and his face on Bussin' with the Boys. You tell me how lit that crowd will be. And guess what? Once the crowd is lit, we know the boys gonna be lit.
We create a very tough environment of his own making for Mr. Pavia.
I would strategically, if I'm Josh Heupel, say, make sure we play this when we're all standing there and they're walking out there to do the coin toss.
Also play it whenever he throws an interception. Really just hammer it.
I would run this into the ground.
And the reason why is because then you're going to see really what he's made of, right? Can he handle that clip being played over and over after he makes a mistake? He puts the ball on the ground. Y'all pick up a fumble. He throws an interception. He can't convert on the fourth down. I am playing that clip every time.
Well, I don't know if you can play it that many times, but because it's a pretty long clip. But I mean, I get what you're saying. No, that because
just do that. Vanderbilt's going to run Tennessee.
A guy like him, he would keep trying and keep pressing, trying to force the issue.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let the game come to him. Once he started making mistakes, he'd be like, I can run through a brick wall. He would keep trying it. He's that kind of guy. And that mentality typically is a defensive guy.
Yeah.
See, that's why, and I mean, that's probably why he came back, because he probably got no, draft grade of any kind, because he's shorter than me, and he's no way going to play quarterback. So I'm trying to figure out, I love his heart and what brings to the table, but will he be a good pro at what? Running back, slot receiver, safety? What can he actually play in the NFL? I don't know if there's a spot for him.
And how many quarterbacks have we seen transition to wide receivers with any success?
Yeah, I don't know.
Very few,
if he's
any.
Shifty. I don't know, man. And I love the dude, man. I mean, man, he's a heck of a player. Some of the stuff you can't even teach him. He was doing stuff out there. I was at the South Carolina game on the sideline. There was. Some coaches be like, man, don't do that. And he was doing it, and he could do that like if because they had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just like, wow, man, this guy, belief in what he can get done is pretty remarkable.
I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, ultimately it means nothing, but it is hilarious.
It's not a nothing burger.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's nothing. It ultimately means nothing, but it's hilarious because when you crap talk Tennessee, every fan is going to do this. I said, why are you guys even bothering with Diego Pavia? I mean, are you guys that intimidated by him? Is kind of what I was, just poking fun at, Jackson and Joseph is really up in arms about it. I'm sure on 3HL. I'm sure on 3HL, him and Ron Slay and Brent are really going to go in on some Diego Pavia, but. And listen, that's their rivalry. I'm not part of it, but it's just funny because it's just a little Diego Pavia.
Oh man, I love it though, man. Just say you got to back that up, man. And he believes it.
Yep.
Hey man, that's one of those guys. You better, on the other side of that, Tennessee, you got to respect the guy. But at the same time, we say we're gonna mash this dude.
Got to.
Yeah, we got to shut all that up.
He mentioned that he thinks that Vanderbilt's going to be the premier NIL school funding wise, which. I'm not really going to, because he thinks it's because it's in Nashville. He thinks because of the alumni and it being Vanderbilt that they're going to be one of the premier NIL schools in the next few years and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, did he give us some proof in the pudding that's going in that kind of direction?
Do we have a clip, Jackson, you can find? And I'll move on to this next thing, and we'll come back to that topic. But Diego Pavia did talk about the Big Ten, and I'm always here for some hate on another conference. And he did say this: you want to play with the best. You don't want to play with the Big Ten. You ignore those calls. The SEC, it's like week after week, you're going to get beat on. The Big Ten, you're not going to get beat on with the Purdues and Nebraskas. Now, obviously, bad timing to say this because the Big Ten won the championship.
Minnesota. I mean, there were some other teams he could have.
Yeah, but he went after Purdue and Nebraska. Thoughts on that? Because I'm a big proponent of SEC is clearly the best football conference and the toughest one. But hey, props to the Big Ten. They're representative in the college football playoffs. Ohio State dominated everybody that they played.
Well, they both have the biggest TV contract. I think the Big Ten is actually ahead of the SEC because theirs ended last, so they have the bigger contract. But top to bottom, the SEC, I mean, it's pretty clear that they're. But now the Big Ten may be a little more top heavy now that a team called Alabama has kind of slipped down to the wayside. Third or fourth when they used to be at the Premier. So I think it's closer than most people think, but top to bottom SEC, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean it's just deeper too. I think I know it. Like everybody says, the SEC just means more. I mean, but still, it is just a deeper conference with just. I feel like. Outside of really Michigan, Ohio State, I think there would be 3 or 4 SEC rivalries that would probably even trump Michigan and Ohio State. Maybe not
Which
3 or
one?
4. Iron Bowl for sure.
Wait, okay, I got you. I'm with you.
I would think that the cocktail party would be one. I think it's pretty. Well,
I
maybe
agree,
it's more
but it's
lopsided.
like, I'd love to know anybody's top 5 rivalries in football. Now that Texas is in there.
Yeah.
See? But I just
Texas,
it's
Oklahoma,
it's kind of
Red
changed.
River rivalry.
Right. It's kind of changed, but what are the top 5?
Probably. I guess I probably way
Auburn,
overplayed
Alabama,
it. I
of
would say
course.
Auburn, Alabama's number 1.
I don't know.
Who would you put number 1?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I want to let the fans. I don't know. I want to. Man, that's a tough. Ohio State, Michigan to Alabama, Auburn. Where else are we going here? Texas, Oklahoma.
Texas, Oklahoma.
Alabama, Tennessee.
Now, hopefully, Texas and
Who?
Texas A&M can get back up to where it
Alabama,
was.
Tennessee.
Alabama, Tennessee.
I don't really consider it that
And
in top
what we're
5.
saying
That
is
is
we're talking about
definitely-
top 5 nationally. Like
Yeah.
like that. And nothing against Tennessee. That is a rivalry. I mean,
I would think Tennessee and Florida is more of a rivalry
Right.
for you guys than Tennessee and Alabama.
I think, but I'm going by named games.
Okay.
Like there's the game
The third
between
Saturday
Ohio,
in October.
Ohio State and Michigan.
I get what you're doing. You're
Like-
going with marketing.
Yeah, like, well, if people identify a certain game every year with a name, I think those are more likely to be more popular. The game, Ohio State, Michigan, Iron Bowl, Alabama, Auburn, third Saturday in October, Tennessee, Alabama, cocktail party, Georgia, Florida.
Yeah.
I think those are more likely to be the top rivalries.
I mean, I guess I could get on board with that line of thinking. I do just think that Tennessee, Florida is a better or more heated rivalry, it feels like, right?
I think that's more of a new thing.
Do you think so? Well,
I
see,
think it's more recent than the Alabama.
Yeah, but I
rivalry.
mean, it's been kind of lopsided for the most part for Alabama there for a long time. So, like, but you guys were always closer with Florida, it felt like, in your all's rivalry as far as competitiveness. It's kind of like, in the AFC North, it's like the Cincinnati Bengals think they're the big rivalry of the Steelers when it's really the Steelers and the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? They're little brother. They're middle brother. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at on that.
Also, USC Notre Dame. Is that part of that?
Army, Navy.
Army, Navy.
Navy.
Yeah.
I was going to say that next.
USC Notre Dame's a good one. Florida, Georgia, USC, UCLA, Florida State, Miami. Yeah.
But who's number 1?
I would say Alabama, Auburn, but maybe that's bias.
I'm going Ohio State, Michigan.
What about you, Jackson?
I'm with Blaine, Ohio State, Michigan.
You're just a hater. Just a hater.
I think you just want to go against Alabama.
He did.
I think that's what that was.
Jackson, were you able to find that clip? Nope. Still can't find it.
He was
I think-
participating with
yeah,
us.
I think Joseph has it in his A drive, I think. He doesn't? He
Does
was
not.
all about clipping that. He talked about it ad nauseum before the show. But anyway, I don't know if he had any real tangible proof that that's what it was, but he was just, like I said, he was just really high on his own supply in this episode, for sure.
Yeah, well, that's typical him, though.
Yeah.
And it's the off season, and he's trying to pound his chest a little bit. But when you have a good season like that, it's always about, can you duplicate that again?
The real Mike Jones says Tennessee versus Alabama is not a rivalry. Wasn't like Saban like 16-1 versus Tennessee. Just saying. That's him. That's him and F&M Bank Channel on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. Not me.
That's why I wanted to stay away from that.
Yeah.
That's why I knew what to
Wasn't me. Okay, so since we're talking about Diego Pavia, I do want to ask, is there any, we were kind of talking, like, what is the path for him to succeed in the NFL? My first instinct was slot wide receiver.
Yeah, you said it.
Your instinct was, I think, safety. Yeah. And did we say running back?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
And
I just don't know.
Because, I mean, obviously, Doug Flutie.
Yep, Doug Flutie.
Had some success. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. We don't know what Dylan Gabriel is.
I don't see him as a thrower like any of those
I don't
guys.
either.
Hey, I mean, I think that's why he came back. I mean, really, I think, he pressed to try to get eligible to play another year because I think the NFL had no grade for him as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
And so then you say, okay, where can he fit in? Because he is a football player. And so I don't know,
A
man.
guy like that could probably go to safety, right? Because he's played
I think so,
quarterback.
because he's smart. Yeah,
I
he got
thought
a good feel
Slot
for the
could be
game.
that kind of guy too, but I've seen so many quarterbacks just
Or
fail.
can he just go to Canada and be, all world?
Maybe he goes to UFL. Maybe he does something like that. But I do kind of agree with you. With his mentality, he does kind of have a safety mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's more of a defensive guy than I feel like an offensive guy with that mentality.
He's a running back. He wasn't twitchy like that. So I would say, I'm got safety. I think he's got somewhat of a choice there if he wants to take it, but I don't know if he would want to do that. I don't know him like that.
For New Mexico State in 2023,
when he was there,
he got almost to 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. He had a 60.4% completion percentage. He comes here and he had 366 pass attempts. Comes to Vanderbilt, only 298 pass attempts, 2,293 yards, so almost a 700-yard dip. But he dropped 6 in touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, but dropped in interceptions with 4 interceptions. It makes you wonder, is that because of the offensive line, you think? Is that because of the scheme that they wanted to run? I mean, why the dip in production?
Well, I think that's easy. For me, it's the competition. Well,
Yeah.
So you got to know that he's not going to get those same stats. There's no way.
So can we say the same thing about Joey Aguilar then? Or is it because Joey Aguilar is probably a better pure thrower of the football?
I would expect a little bit of a dip, but here's the difference. The weapons around him, the school you're at.
Yeah.
That matters. And so he looks like he did a heck of a job.
Right.
And then when you go look at his numbers, it's nowhere near what he did in Mexico. Wait, who was they playing? I mean, I know they play a couple of teams out of conference. And now you're playing the best conference up top to bottom every week, pretty much. So I think he still showed well. He's a guy, sometimes the numbers don't even show what his impact is on the program. I mean, it's kind of somewhat of his leadership, different than Cam Ward, but what Cam Ward has done at every stop he was at.
Yeah.
So I think
you
that's
almost want to
undervalued.
bank on the football player, not necessarily the quarterback, if that makes sense.
I think so, because he brings so many other things and belief to his teammates. And so, because that's what he's done. I mean, not only to his teammates, his coach staff, and the fan base. Yeah, I mean, he is. I mean, he's a special guy. And you just wish that, okay, where can he be in the NFL? Because you want to say he can rekindle that in a different way. And I just think those are his options. I don't see him really as a slot receiver, maybe running back, but I don't want him to take the pounding. So safety's only is it. And then he's going, I don't know.
Dixie did say he beat Auburn at New Mexico State, but that's no big deal. It's just Auburn.
He didn't. Well, yeah. I did say, I mean, they play a couple teams out of conference, but that was a big because was that Freeze? Who was the head coach there? Because that was a big deal when he transferred. They were talking about how well he played versus him. So, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, what he is able to do this year, because we talked about it yesterday when we were going through the quarterbacks of the SEC. We talked about how they were bringing back a lot of the people that he is familiar with at second time. We're talking about the tight end, the 2 or 3 wide receivers that they're bringing back. So he's going to have that built-in chemistry. The coaching staff stays the same. So maybe we do see a different style of Vanderbilt football this go around, but it's going to come down to that offensive line because
it will.
I mean, that offensive line was just a train wreck last year.
And it's another thing too. Let's go back to this Auburn. Auburn played down. I don't like saying that, but that was the game. That was their bowl game. That was their national championship game. They lived for that game, and he performed well. I watched this game. And I couldn't believe it. They had a great game plan. Almost looked like Auburn didn't prepare for them.
31-10.
Almost like they didn't prepare for them. They looked past them. The coaching staff was preparing for the next game because they had no idea what they were running. And they had success the entire game. It was like, whoa, man, you got to respect your opponent. You better prepare your players, but get them in the right mindset and make sure you prepare them as coaches. So, they dominated that game. It was interesting.
All right, when we come back, we'll go to your phones. We got T-Mac who wants to talk about the UFL. We're also talking about that pitching performance by Arkansas pitcher yesterday. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Let's talk insurance. My new client, King and Associates Insurance in Brentwood. They're independent agents, and that's a big difference, but it goes beyond just having multiple companies to shop. Weeding out the non-competitive companies, keeping great relationships with the biggest and best, along with bundling. But unfortunately, life happens, and they get it. Here's a true story about my friend and coworker that switched from a previous independent agent, got better coverage on his home and its contents, even his automobiles, flawless communication, and a true champion in his corner after his 16-year-old daughter's accident, and they still saved him thousands and thousands from an independent agent who was overcharging him for years. Is that like happened to you? You can make the switch and save the same, if not more. But don't make the switch because he did. Switch because you should. As a business, family, or individual, make a switch to King and Associates Insurance. And I'm sure you could do for the extra money you could put in your pocket as well. So all you have to do is just give them a call at 615-329-8121. That's 329-8121. Or you can go online at tkinginsurance.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. We're taking your questions on the Tennessee Titans and all things sports. If you have a question for Coach Mack, who's going to join us at 2:20 p.m., brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. We'll take those into consideration as well. But first, we're going to go to the phones because we got T-Mac in the borough who wants to talk about the UFL. T-Mac, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Yes, thank you. I heard y'all mention about the UFL earlier. First of all, I want to shout out the DC Defenders. I've been following them since 2020 when the league opened up, and of course they got shut down due to COVID, and then they came back. So I've been following the DC Defenders. They finally won the championship this past Saturday night, so I want to shout them out. But I have a question for you guys, 2 questions. For one, do you guys watch the UFL? And 2, I've always thought of this. Last year when I was watching the Titans and I saw them having all types of offensive line issues, and they always say there are no left tackles, there are no right tackles available in free agency. Why not just go over to the UFL, get whoever was the top left tackle over there, bring them in on a 1-year deal rather than deal with guys like when we had like Dennis Daly and NPF and all those guys. So those are my 2 questions. Do you watch it, and why do you think the Titans would not just if they trying to plug a hole, just go over and get whoever was the top guy, the top offensive line guy, or the top receiver, the top this or that, and why wouldn't that work? I hang up and listen.
Thanks, T-Mac. First, I'll be completely honest, unless it's on at the bar, I do not watch the UFL. And I know there are certain people that cover the NFL who've said, you're not a real football fan or lover of the game if you don't watch the UFL. I just don't ever see it advertised, so I don't ever know when it's on, to be honest with you. I just don't watch it unless it's on at a bar that I happen to be at. I'll go with that question first.
Right, yeah. Well, I followed a little bit. I can't say I'm following it closely. I'll have it on, especially if it's nothing else on. Especially if I know Chris Rowland, so I like watching him a little bit there. So he's on that team as well from TSU. He's their all-time leading receiver, past Jerry Rice and HBCU and the receiving record. So I kind of watch him. And then you find out, you remember a couple of other guys from college, some big-name guys too as well. So I always try to see if I could see some guys who's, still trying to fight to get their opportunity to play in the league. And about, getting those guys to replace some guys here. Most of those guys that are there, none against them, I'm sure there's some diamond in the roughs, but probably would be backups. But to the caller's point, those guys who were starting at left tackle, they were having issues. They probably were backups as well. So, yeah, I like his idea. Tough falling back-to-back. I think they get 3 weeks off or so before training camp starts for those guys. So that's, you don't get a lot of rest time. You got to still keep training, but that's what you got to do to get your opportunity. So, yeah, I would definitely be, man, especially some guys that showcase some pass rushers. And there's some skill guys that I kind of like. I didn't see any quarterbacks that I thought. I remember what's the guy that was at Ole Miss, the Hawaiian guy. He's still there in the league too. But there's some guys I think could be good, solid backups in this league.
Well, I mean, Kavonte Turpin was from the USFL.
Yeah.
That's a player for the Cowboys that has changed games for them. A returner has changed games for them that Bones Fossil found and hired him. And I believe Brandon Aubrey, was he also USFL?
Yeah, but Turpin is not a starter, but as a returner,
right?
But yes, he's a specialist. I don't know. I don't know. I usually have those games on.
Birmingham Stallions, USFL, Brandon Aubrey. So they got two. There's 2 players right there, and that's really that's not really what the caller asked because he was talking about offensive line. But my overall point has been, I have always thought the Tennessee Titans don't dip in those waters enough. In fact, I think they maybe have brought in one guy to work out.
I think they did.
I don't even think they signed him just to work out. I
think that was last year, too.
And I think it was their sack leader, the defender the defender of the year for the UFL, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think teams should be dipping into these for these back of the roster spots. Now, to the caller's point, listen, I get that Dennis Daly and Andre Dillard and NPF and all these guys have not played very well in the NFL, specifically for the Tennessee Titans. I would just have a hard. I mean, I don't mind a tryout and trying a guy, especially at right tackle when you keep rotating the same jabronis in and out of the lineup last year. I mean, might as well, try someone different.
Yeah. Is the guy from Maryland still on the team?
Jalen Duncan, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
He's just there. But when you look at these guys, and a name recognition is not everything, but these guys that maybe didn't allow any sacks in the USF and the UFL.
Good point.
Mason Brooks, Gunnar Britton, James Tunstall, Alex Akimbulu. Kellen Dyche is the only guy that I recognize he was a guard at the NFL level. He's a tackle at the UFL level.
Mm-hmm. So that shows you the talent gap right there.
See, then that's where it's kind of hard to say that, why not try to fix it? You may not be able to fix it. You may find someone better, but you're still, it's a Band-Aid. And maybe that's to T-Mac's point, is that he kind of alluded to just a Band-Aid option, a 1-year contract Band-Aid option. Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with that. And I do think that, even when the Tennessee Titans didn't have really good wide receivers depth, why not go to and try out some of these UFL guys? Hakeem Butler was one of these guys that was really lighting it on fire. Now, he had some shots with the Steelers and never went anywhere. Hakeem Butler did. But here for the Tennessee Titans, that guy maybe could have made it for a certain point in this wide receiver room. Not this year, but, years past. So I've always thought, why not dip into these waters more if you're an NFL team?
Yeah, I think you're going to see more and more. I think I asked Coach Mack this last year because I know he was big, or 2 years ago, because of he was watching all the UFL. I think it was when Coach Fisher was coaching at that time. I know Greg Williams was there last year. The DC I was with. Now he's at TSU. They got some quality players over there, even coaches too, by the way. I think eventually they're gonna be some form of a feeder system. I'm not sure if the NFL has figured out how to utilize these players with that little short period of time off, and how much value they're really getting out of these players. That's why I said skill guys. That's kind of easier to translate to the NFL and what the kind of impact. Those guys in the trenches, O-line and D-line, unless you're a pass rusher, it's kind of hard to say when you say, left tackle, and then you get to the league and you go, he's not athletic enough. We got to move him to guard.
Yeah. You know what? Just thinking of this, and maybe we could talk about this a little bit after the break. I don't know, but
it's like a whole bunch of SEC players out there, and you go, okay, which one of these guys, and hopefully you pick one of them that, give an opportunity.
Even if you were able to draft Jalen Duncan, instead of having Jalen Duncan take up your roster spot his rookie year on the final 53, you could send him to the UFL to kind of get into shape and learn some stuff to develop.
First, that's when they started. Said this is going to be a developmental league for quarterbacks that don't play.
Right.
And, I think that's a great idea.
I mean, why not be able to use that, and then you free up a roster spot, but you maybe get you can call, kind of like the minor leagues, right? You can call up Jalen Duncan. Mm-hmm. And that's really what they should be kind of using that for, in my mind. And, of course, that then probably bumps a lot of these guys that have been playing in the UFL off a team, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the great answer is, but to me, that's how I would be using it. If I had to say, if I were the NFL, I'd be like, hey, we want to do this with the UFL, make it a true minor league team, and then we'll put Jalen Duncan down there in our farm system.
They're already using their rules, with the special teams and all that, so they've already tested it out. So they're using it to some kind of way anyway, even though they don't own the league yet. I would probably buy them. I guess they can kind of just watch them and don't have to buy them, I guess. I don't know. I think I would be interested in that if I was them to be a farm league,
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about another low-key Titan for this team in 2025. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Man, life is full. Work, family meetings, and somehow I'm supposed to squeeze in going to the gym. I don't have the hours enough in a day to even train. And I want to feel better in my clothes and, look like how I used to back in the day when I was ripped up. But surgery? No, not for me. I just want something that works fast. Enter M-Sculpt Neo at Edge Peptide Therapy. 30 minutes, no downtime. Real results. M-Sculpt Neo is the most advanced body sculpting technology available, merging fat reduction with muscle building in one effortless session. No surgery, no downtime, just results that speak for themselves. M-Sculpt Neo is your secret weapon, building muscle and burning fat faster than traditional workouts alone. It's like doing 20,000 sit-ups in 30 minutes without breaking a sweat. And when you book in June, you get 2 free sessions. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 615-724-1878 and invest in the version of you that's already in there. That's 615-724-1878.
2:03. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. Last night in the NBA, the finals, Game 5, as the Thunder took the win at home, 120-109. SGA with a double-double for the Thunder, 31 points and 10 assists. Thunder take a 3-2 series lead. Game 6, Thursday in Indiana. In NFL news, the Steelers and safety Deshaun Elliott have agreed to terms on a 2-year extension worth $12.5 million, with $9.21 million of that guaranteed. Elliott has 4 career interceptions in 6 seasons with the Steelers. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All 4 Season Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. The Tennessee Titans signed Xavier Woods to a 2-year, $8 million contract in the offseason. We are doing a discussion right now on low-key Titans players that should have an impact in 2025, and Xavier Woods is one of those guys, an under-discussed player, because everybody's all interested in the shiny new toy. Kevin Winston Jr. this, Kevin Winston Jr. that. Is he out there? What's he doing? When will he be playing fully? Well, you got Xavier Woods right here, who's a pretty dang good defender that's been around some teams and had some success, and he's going to be starting opposite of Amani Hooker right now when you go into this season. And I would say that's probably going to be the case for the majority, if not all of the season. That's where I'd put my money on. And I think we need to highlight some of the stuff that Xavier Woods has recently accomplished, been able to do, what he can bring. Because to be honest, I was a little hoping that they would bring back Quandre Diggs. I know he suffered an injury and their big thing has been health this and health that. But when Quandre Diggs played for the Tennessee Titans, he was a really good defender for them and was always very sound. And then when he left, and then you have the combination of also trading away Ernest Jones, that's when you saw this defense really start to fall off. Not to say that those two were two linchpins, but that's when you really saw the run defense take a big hit because they were always in the right spot at the right time, specifically Quandre Diggs, who only had a 4% missed tackle rate, which is one of the lowest among safeties in the NFL, but also one of the lowest for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, so what's your question?
Well, I guess to start off,
Xavier Woods?
With Xavier Woods, he has a high missed tackle rate, but he's Mr. Dependable, right? He's been in the league for a while. He's always available. How much does that availability really impact a defense, knowing that your safety next to Amani Hooker's more than likely always going to be there and always be available?
Well, that's always vital and crucial in any defense. I think Xavier Woods, I didn't know a lot about him. I know he was drafted by Dallas, and so I kind of saw a lot of highlights and film on him there. Good, well-balanced safety. He could play in the run, fits. He can play deep. He has some cover skills to him as well. So I thought he was very underrated. Then he was with the Panthers, I think, last year, if I can recall. Mm-hmm. And he did a solid job there. And so you sign him to a modest contract. Really, you're just buying time for when you probably get Winston up and running. And when I say that, I meant like buying yourself a year.
Yeah.
Because he's coming off an ACL who has a high ceiling, and he can pretty much do anything he wants to once he recovers from an ACL. See what he can actually do when he's out there. So he's a very talented player. So I think this is a wily vet who still has enough in the tank. And at worst case scenario, even with a 2-year deal, even if Winston's available, let's say the next year, you could probably even move forward with him. And then your Woods, with what they're paying him, is not, he can even be in a backup. And now you're playing 3 safeties most of the time anyway. So very solid play. I was pleasantly surprised, not knowing very much about him when we did the research when they signed him. I actually liked him a lot. versatile, plays with some intensity. I wasn't really concerned with missed tackles because all those tackles are when he was out in space, and sometimes he was making them, sometimes he wasn't. And a lot of safeties have missed tackles on their docket. So these guys now are so talented in the open field. It's kind of really hard. You wonder what he's doing to kind of work on that. I'm sure he understands some of the weaknesses of where he has to concentrate on the tackles, but at the same time, he's always in the right place at the right time. And I really like consistent players because then that creates a trust and a chemistry within the defense that, everybody's going to be in a proper spot. Now, who's going to miss tackles? Who's going to, make an interception, or who gets jumped over his head, and maybe you have Shaquan jump backwards over you. I mean, those things are going to happen, and you can accept those as a player personally, and then as a player that's a teammate. So long as you can depend on him, and he's doing his best, I think that's cool. I think he's a fine player. I think he's going to be a solid player. I don't think that's going to be an issue with him versus Hooker. Hooker, to me, is more of a concern because he's been undependable because of his health. He's missed 3 games probably the last 3 years in each season. I don't know what the numbers are, but he's always missing games. Man, super talented, very versatile player. I want him to stay healthy throughout a season over these last 3.
3 games last year, 4 games the year before, and then he missed, that would be 8 games in 2022.
Yeah, see, so I don't like. So there's a pattern there, and this is probably his last go-round with the Titans. Basically, I think his contract is up, right?
His contract is up, and that's another discussion episode for another day, too.
Yeah, right. So then they will move forward. Then Woods will stay there, and then Winston moves right on in.
Because Woods is only a $5 million cap hit next year, and they're only paying him $4 million in cash.
Right.
So he's not expensive, whereas Amani Hooker, it was projected out today, but Amani Hooker is expected to get a sizable contract. Now, listen,
he's making like 10, 11, right?
Yeah, this is from Spotrac, so we can't really, say that this is really what's going to happen with Amani Hooker, but they project that he's going to get a 3-year, $51.3 million deal. $17.1 million per year is what they're projecting. That would make him the 6th highest paid safety in the NFL, and I don't think he's the 6th best safety in the NFL. I'm not saying that he's not good or anything.
No, that's open market, though.
Yeah, but that is open market, but we'll
that's
see.
What happened. Watch this. It's more the 3rd best, the tackle, or whatever number he's at.
No,
see, that's what happens
but
when you get on
also
open
a different
market.
Position.
Well, no, I know it's a different position, but we're talking about the same circumstance. Is he was on the open market, he got high value, and he's not the whatever ranked best, whatever he got paid. Now he's up there. Now he's got to be the top 5 with that kind of contract he got.
I just wonder with his injury history how much that really plays into it for him even on the open market.
I don't think he's an elite player, so I wouldn't put him in that category. I think he's always going to be this $10, $11 million guy type player. I mean, in this era of the NFL with safety, he's a really good player. Sometimes desperate times extra measures. Never know when you get on open market. He may get to 17. I don't know. He may get to 20. Who knows? I mean, at this point in time, it depends on how desperate or how much a team really wants you.
Yeah. Now, the Carolina Panthers, a lot of people are always like, well, if he was available, how good is he? Because, if the Carolina Panthers don't want you. And here's what I'd say about that, is that the Carolina Panthers decided to go younger within their revamping their entire safety room. In fact, they had 5 free agent safeties hit the market this year that all played considerable snaps, and they only brought back 1 of them.
Yeah, well.
And that should tell you a lot about what they're trying to do differently in their they spent money on Trevor Mooring, who is obviously way younger, and then Xavier Woods. So they were trying to get younger with their safety room. But since he signed a 3-year, $15.8 million contract in 2022 with the Panthers, he started 46 games over the past 3 seasons, and he's been a mainstay on the back end of the Panthers. Did you all know, and this includes you in the you all, Blaine, but did you all know he finished among the top 4 safeties in 2024 for the team, because they played a lot of safeties. But he played every defensive snap for the Carolina Panthers last year, led Carolina in total tackles with 119 tackles. From the safety position, seems like a lot, by the way. Led the team in solo tackles with 72, and led the team in interceptions with 3. I mean, for whatever you may feel about Xavier Woods, Kevin Winston Jr., and all that kind of stuff, Xavier Woods is dependable. He's the Cody Barton of the safety group, if you want to go that far.
Yeah.
He's going to be in his spot. Yeah. He's going to be a clear communicator. And when you start putting in all these pieces, like Cody Barton, like Xavier Woods, you should start seeing a more cohesive defensive unit and not a lot of finger pointing and confusion on why someone ran past them for 20 yards in a given play.
Yeah, and that's what I said. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get consistency. And he's a solid player. This guy, he's a solid starting NFL safety everywhere he's gone, even with the Cowboys. And then he brings the hammer too. He brings the hammer too, as well as he has good hands and vision. Yeah. For picks too, so I was thoroughly impressed. I hadn't heard much about him, so I'm sure he thought on the open market that he would get a little bit more than what he got. I thought he was probably more of a $7 million where they're paying him now. Yeah, just a good solid player. So maybe because he played with the Panthers, may have hurt him because they weren't very good that year. But he performed. From Cowboys to the Panthers. When I watched tape, he looked exactly the same, I like what I saw. And it's the same with Cody Barton. So I love your analogy there of consistency then in their play. Now, you may not get spectacular, maybe every now and then, but it'll be far in between. But you know what you get every game. You're going to get a solid player.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a top 5 or top 10 player at either of those positions. No. But when you start building a team in the aggregate as a team and not a team built around one superstar or two superstars, you start building an actual team and start developing younger players, which is the plan for the Tennessee Titans, right? That's what they've talked about. This is kind of what you supplement it with. If you go back outside of Bobby Wagner last year for the Commanders, that's what they did, and they found great success because they built a team, built around communication, trust, knowing where everybody was going to be at.
Quality veteran players.
Right. And quality. And this is what they're doing.
Yeah. So that's what the Titans are doing. This is a good signing. I mean, nothing spectacular, but this is quality right here. Yeah. It doesn't get any better than this to me. You know what he can do in this league, and you're not going to ask him to do something that he hadn't done.
Right.
So
you have enough tape to know what he can and can't do and what he's really good at, and you have a chance to put him in those positions to succeed. And you'll get a really good player. He's a couple of years removed from being with Minnesota and having a great year at Minnesota. He had a stop between Dallas and Carolina, and he was really good in Minnesota. There is a good player there. May not be an elite player, but there is a good player. Right. And this team has been desperate for just good players and good plays.
And that's what they're going to get consistently. And I think the league values him like that. And not that he's an elite. When you're talking about stats, and when he was in Minnesota, he had some good stats there, but they knew that he's not as good as these stats. Right. But, I mean, hey, everybody, we got to give him props for what he did do. So, I like him. I thought it was quality, man. They did a good job. They did their homework with Cody Barton and him. Those two dudes are, what you get. I liked them. Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we'll be joined by Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, folks, I've been talking about Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance for years because they're the leading experts in sports medicine and performance and the team physicians for the NFL, college, and high school athletics across Tennessee. And TOA provides sports medicine coverage to more high school and college sports teams than any orthopedic group in the state of Tennessee. They have 29 locations throughout the state and over 100 physicians throughout Middle and East Tennessee to take care of all your musculoskeletal needs. And TOA has 11 urgent care locations with walk-in availability 7 days a week. They offer direct access to sports medicine and performance, physical therapy, and nutrition. Personalized rehabilitation plans to enhance mobility, reduce pain, and improve overall physical function for patients recovering from injuries or surgeries. And TOA also offers sports performance training, a specialized program designed to enhance athletic performance and provide tailored training solutions for athletes at all levels. So please check out their services at TOA.com. Yes, that's TOA.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Store. Join 105 The Zone 3HL later today as they broadcast live from Fat Bottom Brewery from 3 to 6 p.m. for Mike Check and Taylor Zarzer, the new voice of Titans Radio. Stop by and enjoy $4 happy hour drafts from our friends at Fat Bottom and register between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. to win 2 VIP Q&A tickets as we welcome new Titans Radio play-by-play man Taylor Zarzer. For more information, please visit 1045thezone.com. And you all heard the music. It's Tuesday. It's 2:20 p.m. So we're bringing in Coach Mack. Coach, how we doing today?
Hey, guys, doing good. Yeah, I will be there with Taylor. I had a speaking engagement this morning, and then I will be there with Taylor this afternoon, so looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well, so we'll see you out there. Coach, now with a break, what is the coach's job doing here? Because obviously they're probably going to have a little bit of family time, a little bit of vacation, but what are the coaches really focusing in on between themselves as a coaching staff between this break between mini camp and training camp?
Well, coaching, I mean, it's different from the assistant coaches to the head coach. The coaching staff themselves, they will get a break, and they get a much-needed break, because once you start in on the 17-week season, it is a genuine grind. So they'll be with their families now. Now they're still up there because the rookies are still there, stayed for another week, and some of them are still up there. But this is a time where the coaches can get away and decompress. A head coach is never really off. I can just say that from experience. But they've already gotten together this period of time when the rookies were still there, I'm sure, and gone through all the details of the things they liked and didn't like about this off-season progress. They've all got individual things that they've given their players about things that they would like to see them be able to do, both conditioning-wise and technique-wise, while they are gone. So this is a time for coaches to get away right now.
Coach, we've seen a few people ask Cam Ward, Nick Holtz, Bo Hardigree, and even Brian Callahan about concerns over burnout, as far as maybe he doesn't give himself a mental break. And someone even asked Bo Hardigree, I can't remember who it was, but asked Bo Hardigree at the last media scrum, did you all put in like a planned break in between his schedule for his off-season training? Is there ever Is there a true concern from a coaching staff for a player having burnout or exhausting himself too much during these times off?
No, not really. I mean, you want to be able to have. I mean, the guys understand what they have to do. Now, the rookies sometimes, they haven't been through. This is the first off-season program they've been through. None of them have been through a season. But as long as the players are doing the correct thing, you never worry about a burnout. The only thing you ever worry about is if they ever get off track and are concentrated on things that aren't going to help them.
We've been talking these last 2 days about some low-key, under-the-radar Titans players that everybody's kind of focusing on other players, younger players. But we've been talking about Cody Barton and Xavier Woods and how these additions, while they may not be the elite of the elite athletes or anything like that, but they are solid players that can rely on each other to be at the right spot at the right time. Talk about being a dependable defender and how much that communication, that leadership, that willingness to always be at the right spot at the right time. You may not always make a play, but you at least can depend on the guy next to you to be at that right spot. So talk about how well that can help a defense.
No, well, I mean, these are two proven veterans, and they're very solid players. The Titans have embraced this rebuild, and for a rebuild, you not only need new players and new talent that you bring in, but you need some proven veterans that are going to be able to be the glue for the thing as you continue to progress on it. Both of these guys, I think you guys hit on something. They're both very similar as far as to these are guys that make up what I call the belly of your football team. These are guys that are very solid veterans. They're at a point in their career where they've been productive. They're not going to be those players that are going to grab the headlines, by a big multi-million-dollar signing. But they're very to the core of your football team. I think you guys hit on two of them, and dependability is huge. I mean, as you get through the grind of a season on both sides of the ball and also on the special teams, the biggest thing that you look for when you're talking about consistency, you can break consistency down to a subset of dependability, and that's very important. You guys have hit on two pretty good ones.
We're talking all things Tennessee Titans with Coach Mack, the voice of Titans Radio.
Well, Coach Mack, I don't know if you know the answer, but I want clarity on Cam or Cameron Ward. What does he like to be called?
I think he's Cam. I mean, he was Cameron when he was introduced because that's what his mother named him, but he's pretty much Cam here.
Okay. Now, naturally, you're going to be on with your new partner. We're talking about going there this evening to see Mr. Zarzar, Taylor Zarzar. Have you guys started practicing and simulating games? Or I know you're not going to just wing it now. I know you a pro's pro, right?
Well, no, we're going to be. Look, I get the thing that I did promise, when I came here to work for Titans Radio, is I would prepare for games, whether they were preseason or regular season or playoff games, just like I did when I was coaching. Taylor Zarzar, I've been around him enough. He is extremely, extremely organized. Yeah, we're going to do some things as soon as he is able to move here and get here. We will do some things during training camp as far as being able to get in sync, going back and forth. But I promise you this, neither one of us nor Titans Radio is going to leave anything to chance.
No doubt about it. I knew that. We're on with Coach Mack giving us the Mack attack. All right, now take us through, back in our day, I'm going to just say my day, the expectations from leaving OTAs and mini camps to going to training camp. I know the money is different, but, man, it just seems like the coverage and the pressure of players now to be already prepared as though they've played a game in the league. It just seems like the expectations have ratcheted up. Do you feel like that has happened, or do you say it's still the same, it's just more coverage?
Well, I mean, it's changed, drastically from when I first started, and then clearly, for the time that you and I were together in that era, it's changed quite a bit just because of the massive amount now of media coverage that there is. I mean, that's the first thing, and the second thing is now that's allowing this to start creeping in is the fact that, these players that are coming in now, these last NIL players that are coming in, they've been paid now. They've been paid, so those expectations, where they came from, are ratcheted up. But at the same time, when you are coaching, and also, you've got to be able to stay on a consistent course. Look, expectations and are one thing, but being prepared properly is another thing. That to me has never changed. But the expectations are basically an external thing. But because of, and you mentioned it, you're right, Blaine, you mentioned it because the amount of money, everything, money attracts more attention. And now we've got more money involved than we ever have had in professional sports clear across the board. So to answer your question, that has changed. The mindset has changed. But I can remember a time where, when I first got into the league, I was there with Chicago. We were expected to win a lot of games, and those guys, left as soon as the playoffs were over. And the first time that we ever saw them again was at 1 3-day minicamp after the draft. So the whole process has changed a lot.
No doubt about it, Coach. We were talking about the UFL, and I'm just wondering, do you think that the NFL is utilizing those players enough, or does the talent just is such a gap, or we just kind of continue to see guys filter on different teams here and there, but these guys are really probably backups in the league. What do you think? Where do you see the league going as far as with the NFL?
Every team has got people that are devoted to watching every team in the UFL. Every team has that. And again, as you say, you're always going to look and cherry pick. Thinking guys, looking at guys and seeing, and some guys get a chance to come into the league. Most of the time of what you see is guys being added to the 90-man roster, and then with a chance to see, if they can stick or not, or if they can stick on a practice squad. But as far as the scrutiny of them, I promise you that there are people on every staff, more than one person too, that are devoted to that league.
Last one, tough question probably for you, but outside of the Music City Miracle, Okay, well, you were there.
Yeah, well, besides the miracle, I think to me it was when this football team went up and in 2 weeks beat Baltimore and then beat New England in the playoffs. I mean, that was huge.
Oh.
I mean, those were two huge moments. And if you had to break one down, I would think is beating New England there on their home turf, where at the time they and Tom Brady were pretty invincible, and then being able to kind of put an end to that era with that pick.
Oh, by Logan Ryan, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got you. There you got it. Coach Mack giving us the Mack attack.
Coach, we got a question from one of our listeners on the F&M Bank chat on YouTube here, and I'm going to tweak it a little bit because it's a little of a clunky bit of a question. But when you are measuring Cam Ward's camp performance and you see also what the defense has been able to do, turn him over a couple of times and all that kind of stuff, how do you as a coach weigh how much of it is Cam Ward succeeding or failing? How much of it is the defense? How do you kind of weigh that give and take relationship between the quarterback and the defense?
It's always going to be like that during training camp, but that's what you want. What you want is development on both sides, and there's always going to be a yin and a yang of that. And I don't look at it as failure on either side. I look at it as development for both sides. And at the end of the day, when you go into the building, what you're trying to do is see if the players on both sides of the ball have implemented what you wanted to try to work on. Look at the things, see what the issues were. This is a time not only defensively to start trying things, which Denard was doing towards the end of this mandatory minicamp, but also offensively. Try some things out, because you'll start to narrow the focus down once you get to training camp as you start moving forward. But I don't ever see anything as a failure during this time of the year. I see it as a chance to develop and for some teachable moments. That's what I look for.
How are the connections and chemistry developing so far between Cam Ward and the other rookie pass catchers? And what does Cam and really all the offensive skill players need to do to further improve those connections before training camp?
They just need time on task. That's all they need. They need time on task. I mean, when you've got a new quarterback, you've got new receivers. They are both learning together. I know this. I'm at every practice ever since the draft's been over. Those guys work together quite a bit before practice, during practice, and then after practice. But it's time on task. You can't manufacture time on task in this league. You just can't. And those guys have done a really nice job of getting everything they can out of it. We already know that most of them were meeting very early in the morning, and I think that's a good sign.
When you have obviously been watching J.C. Latham, how has his progression looked over the course of the summer compared to where he was last year?
Well, he's changed his body, and by changing his body, he's changed, his movement skills. Look, this is a big, talented dude, but he realized early. Some guys don't realize it early enough in their careers. Some guys wait until deeper into their careers to be able to understand that speed and quickness and the ability to move and the ability to have endurance is extremely important too, rather than just weight. I was very impressed with what I saw of him. I start out every practice spending individual drills down there with Bill Callahan and that group. J.C. Latham has completely transformed his body, and you can tell that he put a lot of work in. And again, all of this stuff right now is good, but we all know that the proof is whenever you start going against somebody in an opposite colored jersey, which is going to happen pretty quick coming up.
Who is one player that right now you think is going to turn the most heads this season that you feel that's being a little under discussed by us here in the media?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to turn any heads. I like the development of the two young linebackers that Frank Bush has done with Gray and Williams, because they're so far ahead of where they were last year. Of course, clearly Gray missed a lot of time early that very much inhibited his development. But Williams, he has come along in a lot of things. And when I watch young linebackers, the first thing I look at to see, are they being vocal, and to see if they even without, and I won't make any judgments until we get pads on and they start setting their pads against people. But I like the way those two young guys have responded to their second year.
Well, Coach, we've enjoyed your time with us today. Of course, you can, come see Coach Mack today from 4 to 6 p.m. over at Fat Bottom. You can also see the new voice of the Tennessee Titans, Taylor Zarzour, as well. Maybe there's a little Q&A. $4 drinks, some food I've heard is going to be there as well. So it's going to be a good time over at Fat Bottom. You may even get to see me over there. You never know.
Guys, I'm looking forward to both of you guys being here.
There you go.
$4 so you can buy me something.
All right. I can do that. $4 first drinks on me. There you go. All right. That was, of course, Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack. We appreciate it as always. Of course, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. A lot to get to from there, but also I have some beef, Blaine. Not with Coach Mack, not with anybody in the Tennessee Titans, but I have some beef with Stephen A. Smith and what he had the nerve to say about the great city, Memphis, Tennessee. And we're going to get to that when we come back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
You talking about your barbecue? Did you know Eurofix has a very different business philosophy? They staff all the locations with more staff than any average auto repair shop, just so they can be ready when your emergency pops out of nowhere. So have you ever noticed how hard it is to get a right now appointment for a vehicle repair? Some dealers can be more than 2 weeks out just to get a freaking appointment, but not Eurofix. Eurofix has been offering quality repairs that beat the dealer without the dealer pricing since 1999. Plus a 3-year nationwide warranty and the staff to fix your car right now. So if you're tired of waiting forever to get your car into the shop, then call Eurofix. Owner Aaron Stokes says we will never be too busy for our customers. We're here to take their pain away, and we mean right now. And Eurofix repairs all European cars and say yes to speedy repairs when others can't or won't. Family owned for 26 years. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right. 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine said you.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. And I was going to rail Stephen A. Smith for talking bad about Memphis.
Okay, just say it real quick. We got a special guest.
He said no NBA player wants to come there. He's talked to NBA players because no player wants to go to Memphis because they're scared for their life. I don't know what players he's talking about.
Well, I think he was just trying to get some headlines.
I'm sure he
man.
is. It's worked. It's got me all riled up because I love Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
Never had an issue. I've lived there from 2003, 2008. Never had an issue. And I used to see Paul Gasol out all the time at bars by himself, no bodyguards and stuff. So, he wasn't scared.
He may be
of course he's tall, but
reading just data and not using proof of being there.
Maybe.
Because I think Memphis is up there in the top 5 somewhere around. Every
There's
time I read
areas.
something,
It's
I'm
very,
sure. And that's
very
every city, right?
Secluded, right? Yeah. It's very secluded.
Yeah.
But we've been joined, and now we're going to try and say your
I'm
last
going to let you
name.
go first.
Yeah, because we've had a hard time.
You say it.
I'm going to go Amani Oriwariye.
That's actually not
Too bad.
bad.
Too bad. That's not bad. Amani Oruwariye.
Oruwariye.
Warrior. There it is.
All right, there you go.
Warrior.
Yeah, I had to follow his
there we
list.
go.
So I could
Okay. So it's kind of pronounced how it's spelled.
Yeah, if I phonetically spell it out, it's easy to spell once you see it. But
a new cornerback for the Tennessee Titans, Amani Oruwariye. Penn State grad, played with Detroit, recently played with Dallas last year. And I kind of want to start there just real quick is obviously you played special teams and was already coached by Bones Fossil, who's the new special teams coordinator here for the Tennessee Titans. What was it like being coached with him last year? And are you able to kind of guide everybody, all the people that are maybe new to him and his style and how to kind of approach special teams and being coached by him?
Yeah, no, Coach Bones was life-changing for my career. And from a special team standpoint, I wasn't a guy who played a lot of special teams at other teams because I was asked to start and play and was fortunate to start. But no, man, Bones is the man. He understands special teams and he makes it fun. A lot of players go when they come onto a team, it's just all about the big spotlight positions, receiver, quarterback, corner, this and that. But he makes playing special teams fun, and so I'm super grateful to be able to join back forces with him, in Tennessee. And to your question, man, he's I definitely know a lot of their techniques and things like that. So I definitely am able to kind of school some of the other guys on how he wants it done. And
he always seemed like the Energizer Bunny. When I see him on the sideline, I'm like, man, did he take some Red Bull or something? Running up and down. I think that's just who he is.
Yes. No, that's 100% who he is. He likes to, like I said, he's passionate about the game. He's passionate about getting guys going and making plays and just football in general.
Was on the point, was Renee Stewart, he was my backup here with Titan. Was he's his assistant there as well?
Yeah, he brought him on as well. He's the assistant.
Really good dude.
Coach Stu's the guy.
Yeah, Stu.
Great guy as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sharp
You know all about Coach Stu.
Yeah. Well, he was my backup when I get nicked up. He was a real good player, super smart guy. He went to Northern Arizona. He was I forgot what round he was picked, 5th round or so, somewhere there about. But I have a lot of respect and keep in touch with him. But you were under Al Harris, who was my teammate of mine at Eagles, and he's the secondary coach there with the Cowboys. He was a fantabulous player, ended up being at Green Bay there and starting having a fabulous career there. But he's having a heck of a career as a coach. What do you think about him helping you in your development at cornerback? Because, man, he was a blazer. I mean, he was fast, man.
No doubt.
And ripped up, by the way. Yeah, he was always walking around with no shirt on.
No, I don't know nothing about that. But he was definitely a quality coach. Obviously, you've seen, the corners he's developed in this league and the kind of plays they've made on the ball. That was something I was excited about. Going into the Cowboys, I think it was at, 8 or 9 interceptions. So I'm thinking going in there, man, I'm talking to the guru of getting the ball. Mm-hmm. And that was just that. So he definitely taught me a lot on how to, read quarterbacks and, reading 3-step and reading routes and things like that and making calculated decisions on the ball. So definitely took a lot from that.
He tells you when you take your shot, your risk, it's like, hey man, when they get in this formation, they line up right here.
Yes.
They run this hitch. I'm going to get it. They double move me. Safety better have my help, even if it ain't inside that they're supposed to be having.
He used to say, if they're not double moving you, then we're not being aggressive enough. So you knew we were going to play aggressive out there, and that's just his style. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You got some football questions because he's an entrepreneur. He's trying to kind of tell everybody
I was going to bring that up though, just real quick because we're going to be remiss if we don't ask at least two questions. First off, why Tennessee? Why Nashville?
Yep.
And what have you thought about Nashville so far?
Tennessee. Why Tennessee? Man, because
they offer you the best contract.
Yeah, but to his point, I actually moved here about a year and a half ago.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So me and my now wife, we moved here about a year and a half ago. Really just for some opportunities in the real estate space and building a portfolio off the field. And so this place was, I think a gold mine even before I got here. And I've just learned a lot about it. And so positioning myself here where the business was, where work was, and everything I was doing off the field, it made sense. Obviously, no state taxes is great as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we position ourselves out here, and it's been great. I mean, we love it. You get that small town feel, but also a big city, and then I just happened to end up getting signed by the Titans too. So I just think that was a blessing.
That worked out really well, there, man. Guy from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's finest, man.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Gaither High School, north of Plant High School. Some people know where that is. Yeah, North Tampa. So yes, sir.
All right. Gotten to know, because everybody always wants to talk about the quarterback.
Yep.
What has been your early impressions from Cam Ward? You've seen a lot of different quarterbacks over the years since you've been drafted in 2019. So, what have been your early impressions of Cam Ward?
Man, I'm impressed. Honestly, I'm impressed. I think he's got talent like no other. I can see why people raved about him because he's got a competitive edge to him. We talk a lot of mess at practice, and I see it. And sometimes you see your quarterback kind of being quiet. No, he's talking, he's chirping back. Obviously, he's got to earn his way, in this league. But to see that competitive drive and to see the talent he has, this early on was incredible. So I'm excited to see him in camp.
No doubt about it. Well, I guess tell us a little bit about. Or you touched on it about your entrepreneurship. You want to let everybody know that. What you doing?
Yeah. No. So, in my off-season time, this off-season, was very curious in the entrepreneurship, just idea of it, and wanted to find a way to kind of get into it with a low overhead. Not biting off more than I can chew for being a first-time entrepreneur, but a way that I can, find a niche in a market out here that can work, that is effective. And me and my brother-in-law, essentially just built out a business doing service, doing cleaning, residential, commercial, and really our breaking point has been in the construction space, doing construction cleanups. So obviously there's a lot of construction in Nashville, a lot of development on every corner, and so a lot, it seems like a lot of them are got their hands full, pretty busy, every day with all of that. And so we're just trying to find a way that we can come in and just make that process easier for them, come in and, junk clean, deep clean, and any kind of touch ups they need to just help that process go smooth. And so that's what we've done.
What's the name of the company, man? We got to get it out there. You got a Twitter handle, IG handle. We got to get all of it out there.
We're the Good Guy Cleaning Co.
Okay.
Good guy.
And so doing everything the right way. Trying to, obviously we've been blessed by God to have this opportunity. So we're trying to do it the right way and do it all for His glory. But Good Guy Cleaning Co. Man, we're brand new. Check us out, goodguycleaningco.com. You can inquire with us, but we do a good job. We're really trying to focus on, like I said, reliability, consistency, and just doing good work. So, hit us up if you need anything cleaning related, residential. You need your house clean. You need your business clean. You need, any construction cleanups. We're there for you. So,
all right. Any number? I know you gave us the website and got a number to call. No.
goodguycleaningco.com or goodguycleaningco@gmail.com is our email as well if you need that. But yeah, you can find us right on our website. Or you can hit me on Instagram. I respond. I'm pretty good with that. So we got some good things going. So I'm excited for it. Brand new, really early, but we're excited for the growth of it.
All right, what everybody want to know? Are you gonna start?
Am I gonna start? That's the plan.
You just say wait to see, huh?
Yeah, that's the plan, ain't it? Yeah. I'm gonna take advantage of whatever opportunities I get, but trying to build something with this team. There's a lot of hope. I've been on teams, like I said, with Detroit where it didn't start off great and it had some rough years, but that fan base was longing for that team to come through, and I feel like that's coming for Tennessee. I just feel that feeling.
Well, was AG there when you were there?
AG was there.
Oh yeah, I played with him in some Pro Bowls. Yeah,
Okay.
AG, man, little mighty mouth, man. He quick, boy. He got some quick feet.
Oh yeah. AG was
Boy,
that
he was
guy.
intense though.
Yeah,
You better
he was
not
the
mess
same
with
as a coach, no
Yeah.
doubt. But he get the best out of you. So yeah, AG's that guy, man, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
There you go. Okay, I'm gonna let you say make another attempt at the last name.
Come on, man.
I know you got to say it again.
Oruwariye.
Oruwariye.
Warrior.
There we go.
I'm never going to get it right because I don't really want to get it. I just want to have fun with the name. Man. It's a tough name. No, AO. See, I'm going to give you a nickname. That way it's easy.
Yeah, that's
AO.
easy.
Then I never messed that up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for helping me, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Need all the help I can get.
Well, we appreciate you coming on,
so I need
Amani.
all the help.
We appreciate you coming on. Good luck this year. Enjoy this little break before training camp and all that. And good luck. Good Guy Cleaning Co.
Yes, sir.
Good Guy Cleaning Co. There you go.
Thank you.
Look at that. Surprise little guest dropping in on us.
Right. Appreciate
There you go.
man.
We really
No
appreciate it.
Thank you,
All right.
guys. Yeah.
That will do it for us. 3HL's up next. Will be live from Fat Bottom Brewery. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. And in the meantime,
And in between time.
Peace.